The following episode may contain inappropriate material. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another installment of Mattalk. And this is a historic episode, is it not, Jason?
It is amazing.
And why is it historic? Because we are actually recording it in your apartment. You are a mere foot away from me. We are all vaccinated, so it's okay. And this is kind of weird, to be honest, because we started this podcast during quarantine last June. And we've done it remotely, via Uber conference, every single episode. And the other day you were like, look, you're vaccinated, I'm vaccinated. Just come over, let's do it live.
Which is weird because we've stayed in each other's bubbles. Like, you were in my bubble and I was in yours. Like, we've been together.
Yeah, we could have done this. That's right. We could have done this like a couple of episodes ago. We could have done this in the same room, in the same house, a mere few feet away from one another. I don't know. We just must not have thought of that, I guess. I don't know.
I guess not, man, because we met Scott Schwartz. We were in the same place together.
Yeah.
We went to Jersey.
Yes.
We could have recorded it in Jersey.
We could have. But we are back with a new episode of Mattalk, Jason, and we're going to be taking a look at the episode called The Photographer. And it's certainly an interesting episode. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first post Charlene being gone.
Yes, indeed. And I think it's a little bit noticeable, but you know what? If you're ready, I'm ready. Shall we get into our opening statements?
I will. Let's testify.
No, that's later. Jeez. Let's get into our opening statements. All right, The Photographer. It had an original air date of March 31st, 1987. And Jason, we have really only notable one guest star, but I did write down a couple of other guest stars because I thought it was just weird that they have similar backgrounds. But before we do that, shall we just talk about the big name that's in this episode?
Sure.
I mean, Billy Bob Thornton as the pawn shop clerk.
That was Billy Bob Thornton?
You did not recognize him?
No, the guy is a chameleon.
Yeah, a much younger Billy Bob Thornton, but yeah, he was the clerk in the pawn shop.
I really like him as an actor.
Do you?
I do.
What's your favorite Billy Bob Thornton movie?
Okay, I like him as a TV actor. I haven't really seen many of his movies yet. I did really like Bad Santa.
Bad Santa. I was going to say, for me, it'd probably be Bad Santa. I've seen part of Sling Blade. I've never finished Sling Blade. I don't know why. I'm trying to think of other movies that he's been in that I've enjoyed.
Fargo is what made me a fan of him.
Oh,
The first season.
Yeah.
And then Goliath, he's really good on.
Cool. But yeah, so a very young Billy Bob Thornton, who's only on screen for maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes or so. It's a very small role.
We're going to talk about that pawn shop when we get there.
Oh, good. Okay. Here are the two actors that I jotted down because I thought it was very, very odd that they have similar backgrounds. So the first is Jack Heller. Jack will be playing the very scumbag-ish Randall Brooks. We'll get more into Randall in a few minutes, but he played roles on lots of different things throughout the 80s. The A-Team, Remington Steele, but he had a recurring role on 2 soap operas. He was Dr. Jones on The Bold and the Beautiful. Insert No Time for Love, Dr. Jones, Indiana Jones joke here. And he also played a judge on Santa Barbara. The reason I mention that is because one of our other guest stars is Sherilyn Walter. She played, of course, the very attractive Whitney Seaver, and she also was on The Bold and the Beautiful and Santa Barbara during about the same time frame as Jack Heller. She also had a long recurring role on General Hospital and about 6 or 7 episodes of BJ and the Bear. Do you remember that show?
I do not. Is that the one with Tone Loc?
No, I think this is pre-Tone Loc, very, very early 80s.
Tone Loc had a bear show, I remember, in the 90s.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'll have to look it up later.
Okay, you have to look that one up. No, BJ and the Bear was about a truck driver who had a monkey as a sidekick. It was like, Clint Eastwood film Every Which Way But Loose that had the orangutan, and it was kind of a play off of that. It was on NBC. But so Jack Heller and, of course, Sherilyn Walter have that connection to those two soap operas.
Oh, Tone Lokes was C. Bear and Jamal.
Oh, I remember that. I've heard of that. Okay. All right. And that was the 90s, right?
Yeah, that was towards the end of like Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh, so that would have been what? Mid 95, 96-ish?
Yeah, 96 to 97, I think.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, we're also going to see one interesting piece of trivia, Jason, in this episode. It's one of the only, if not the only time, we are going to see Judge Cooksey outside of the courtroom. He needed a Java break, so to speak.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, we also had the recurring guest star, Hot Dogs, in this episode. They make a triumphant return after a few episodes away.
And the weird part about that is the guy that plays Charlie, the guy that sells the hot dogs, he actually was in Hard to Kill.
Nice.
He was Calabrese, who I think wasn't Calabrese the partner of Steven Seagal, I believe?
Man, I'm not the biggest Seagal guy. I've seen them all once when I was younger, and I watched the main ones recently, but I couldn't. I don't remember.
By the way, that actor's name is Nick DeMauro. He was also Tony on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh.
A show that I never watched.
I've never watched it either.
Why?
I don't know. I should like it.
I like Andre Braugher, so you would think I would like it. But
and I like Lonely Island, Andy Samberg, and all those guys.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyways, let's talk about...
It's a puzzle.
It is.
Oh, that's not true. I watched one episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine because it tied into New Girl.
Oh.
When I was binging New Girl.
Oh.
They did a crossover.
Well, I did not know that. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're not here to hear us talk about modern television. No. You're here to hear all about Matlock. So, Jason, are you ready to give an opinion? Your opinion and only your opinion?
Yes, I do. But first off, New Girl it's no longer on, so technically it is older TV.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. You know what? Maybe you can debate us on that, and you can do that a couple different ways. First, as we'll just get the plugs out of the way, you could email us. And Jason, what's the email address again? BenMattalk@gmail.com. That's BenMattalk@gmail.com. Not Lock Talk. There you go. There you go. And you can also find us on Facebook. Just look for @Mattalk Podcast. And we're even on Twitter, which is I threw out a tweet the other day. I swear to God, we're trying to get this Twitter up and off the ground. It's slow, people. It's slow. Anyways, we're on Twitter @MatTalk_podcast. And you know what? Maybe we'll talk about Twitter a little bit later, but let's get ready to
Rumble.
No, testify. All right. The plot of The Photographer is that a photographer's assistant is fired and accused of killing her boss. So we start with our opening scene of lots of very artsy pictures being taken, and then the camera pulls back to reveal that they're kind of in an art gallery, and we are introduced to Randall Brooks. What did you think of Randall?
He was a dick.
Wow. Okay. Just go ahead and let us know what you think.
That's what I thought of him. I'm like, oh, that's the guy that's going to get killed or whacked.
See, I wrote down he's a scumbag because he seems to be like schmoozing with all the pretty ladies. And I kind of felt like at the beginning, like he kisses the one young lady, right? After he's done flirting with the other two. And I'm like, oh, this is a dude that's going to be like philandering around all these women. And that actually ends up not being kind of the case, right? You know, as later as the story unfolds, we find out there's no, what's the word I want to use? No hanky-panky going on.
No, just other things.
Just other things going on.
Other devious things.
So Amy shows up, and I got to be honest with you. I was a little bit annoyed that it took like 6 or 7 minutes for them to say her name. Because, you know, in the first part of this episode, I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, well, who is this person? Like, they mentioned Randall's name, so I'm like, okay, but who is this woman? But it's Amy Adler, and Amy arrives late to this gallery, and she argues with Randall and then gets fired. She storms off. She makes a scene. It's very awkward in front of everyone, and she drops the hint, and we actually see it in a camera shot, that there is a camera up in the corner taking pictures every 15 seconds or something All right, so let's dissect this part. Okay, what did you think of Amy?
She's a very beautiful woman.
Okay, I'll give you that. She was a very attractive woman. In fact, I want to say that this episode of Matlock had more attractive women in it than any other one that we've done so far.
I agree, and I want to reach out to her and see if we can interview her.
Okay. I felt at this point I had no problems with Amy, but I do have a problem with the character later on, and we'll talk about it when we get to that certain part of the episode. No, there's a part that I'm just like, okay, this just doesn't seem to work with this character. Well, let's talk about it now, shall we? Okay, let's just go ahead and jump on into it. The thing that I didn't like about Amy, and it's discovered later after the actual murder occurs, is that, quote, she has a juvenile, end quote, record, right? But she has no, like, characteristics or doesn't demonstrate any type of behavior to me that is juvenile delinquent-like, besides the fact she can pick locks. And I'm like, she's not mouthy, she's not disrespectful, she's not headstrong, she's just there. Like, everything Ben tells her to do, she does.
Was she robbed?
Huh?
I mean, robbing, that's bad.
What did she rob? I refresh my memory.
She stole camera equipment out of the loft.
That's true. Okay.
So I'm sure she did other stuff prior to that. Because remember, Ben said stop
stealing stuff. Yeah, it felt forced is all I'm saying.
We have very different opinions on this episode, I could feel. But anyway, let's go back to the loft.
Okay, let's go back to the loft. I thought that it was very weird to have a camera taking pictures every 15 seconds. Didn't you?
It's obsessive.
It is. And at this point, it is 1987. We have video cameras that you could put up there. Why is it not a video camera?
Because he's an artiste, and his artiste is being a photographer. He's not an artist, he's an artiste. Very different. One's more snobby than the other.
You know what he was missing to be a true artiste?
What?
He was missing an ascot.
He was missing an ascot.
Maybe a beret, too.
Yes.
He needs a beret. Yes.
Yes. Later on, when Ben's critiquing the arc, I wish he had an ascot on.
And a cigarette holder.
Yes.
Anyways, so eventually Amy returns back to the studio, and the camera catches Amy leaning over the body after returning to get her stuff. I know how much that probably absolutely thrilled you, Jason, because as we know from previous episodes, you absolutely despise when people incriminate themselves on this show.
I even wrote goes to body. I was even yelling at Kylie. I'm like, Kylie, if you ever come in the house and your father is dead, I was like, don't come anywhere near me. Like, leave the apartment. Go, leave.
Wait, time out. You told your daughter that?
Yes, because I don't want her to get incriminated for my murder. There's no Ben Mattalk in 2021, John.
Well, or Ben Matlock, either or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Perry Mason. Well, technically there's a Perry Mason, but it's not your grandfather's Perry Mason.
Okay. I just really wasn't prepared for the parental advice today, I guess, is where I'm
I wasn't either.
It's you went, honey, this is a teachable moment.
Yes. You don't. Like, you would think it's common knowledge, but apparently it's not. Because everybody on Matlock does it.
It's something they don't cover in school.
Yeah, they should.
They should. Hey, kids, Officer Jones is here to tell us all about drug awareness and what to do if you find somebody murdered.
And not get accused of a crime you didn't commit. Rule number 1, don't go near the body. Leave. Leave the place. Go down to the payphone, call the cops.
Payphone? Wait a minute.
Okay, well, you can't do that anymore. Use your cell phone, but do it from the hall. Or outside. Anywhere that's not inside the building where the murder took place.
And don't touch the knife.
Never.
Never. Don't pick anything up.
Yeah, not even the knife that wasn't used. Like, don't go in the kitchen and make yourself a sandwich while you wait for the cops. Because you never know. Like, don't. Don't. Because you're just putting DNA everywhere. Seriously.
Well, anywho.
Common sense, you would think.
You would think. So what you reference, Amy shows up at a pawn shop to unload some cameras that she stole. So, okay, I guess I did forget about that she did steal. But I'm just saying that kind of this juvenile delinquent storyline, just there could have been more they could have done with it. And I feel like they just didn't do it. They just mention it and then move on. And she didn't seem very delinquent-like is all I'm saying.
That's fair, man. I usually the one with the hot takes on this show, and you came in with one today.
I know.
But I got a question about this pawn shop.
Sure.
So she walks in the pawn shop, not ship, a very different place, and she puts the photography equipment on the table. Guy hands her money and she leaves. Where's the paperwork?
Exactly.
And where's the experts?
Exactly.
Like he didn't have to call an expert to come in and look at the camera. Where's Chum Lee?
First of all, this is a very sketchy pawn shop. If you didn't see from the exterior shots that they did and they had there and the thing I thought was weird was Amy, like Billy Bob Thornton unlocks the door. She goes in first and then he comes in second, and like she's already to the counter. Like it's like Black Friday at Walmart. You got to rush in there and grab that big screen 70-inch television before anybody else gets it, I
mean, it is fair, I guess. If Billy Bob Thornton is the one who owns the pawn shop, then it probably doesn't need paperwork.
Well, and let's be honest, I think Billy Bob Thornton would probably run. I'm not saying he does, but if he did, he would run a sketchy pawn shop.
I'm just wondering where the paperwork was.
I was also wondering, I don't know if you noticed in the background, like there was a lot of like clothing hanging up along the top of the ceiling. And I'm like, I didn't think clothing was something that you could pawn.
I don't know. I don't know what the 80s pawn shops were like.
That's why
I had a question mark next to the paperwork. Maybe they didn't require paperwork in the 80s.
I don't know. That's a great question. So nonetheless, as Amy is doing this transaction, Billy Bob Thornton says, hey, this one's got film in it. And then she was like, I was waiting for that.
I like me some cameras.
Well, anyways, and that jogs the memory of Amy that, holy crap, I forgot that there's film in the other camera. So what does she do? She rushes home and walks in on the cops as they have found the body of Randall.
Dumb thing number 2. Don't go back to the crime scene. Cut your losses.
Wouldn't you think that you would have saw the cop cars out front or out back or whatever? There's got to be police presence all around that building, right?
Maybe she took a back entrance. Or maybe she came in through the sewers like a Ninja Turtle.
I don't know. But this is the part, too, that I just kind of scoffed at. So she leaves. The cops are following her. She outruns the cops on a moped.
Yeah, it's fair.
Let that sink in for a minute.
It's realistic.
She outruns a cop car, which is a probably 1985 V8 Chrysler sedan. She outruns.
Yeah, you can get up to like 25 to 35 on a moped. Maybe she had a souped up moped. You don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe her moped was actually Scooter from the GoBots.
You see? You never know.
There you go. That's what it's got to be.
But see, we transitioned to Matlock. He's getting hot dogs, and he's got his driver's license. And this driver's license bit throughout the whole show is fantastic. He is showing everybody his driver's license because he doesn't believe it looks like him because his eyes are to the side and he looks all wily, and he's showing it to everybody, and they're like, it looks like he's like, forget the name. He covers his name and shows them the picture and goes, who do you think that is? And they're like, it's you. He's like, no, it's not. Then Tyler, it's you. Oh, Judge, it's you. Oh.
Yeah, everybody says it's him. And I agree. I like the gag, but I think they beat it a little. They beat a dead horse.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
It's perfect.
By the way, I'm just going to share a side story. I had a friend, and this was years before it was popular or trendy to have a giant beard, like people do today. He had grown a gigantic beard. He got a new driver's license. Then he decided to shave off the beard. He got stopped once, and the cop was really, really like giving him the third degree going, this isn't you. And he goes, sir, it is. I had a very large beard, but no, I don't think this is you. And he did give him a hard time. I don't know if the cop like truly didn't believe it or if he was just being a jerk and be like, oh, I'm going to jerk this guy around some. But yeah, and he was like, okay. So lesson learned. Next time that he got the license, he made sure that, I'm going to be clean shaven for this so that maybe I don't get harassed, I guess. So
I guess.
I don't know. I've never had that problem. I mean, I haven't. I've had a beard and then shaved it off for my new driver's license, vice versa.
Yeah, but you don't look like a mountain man.
True. Right. Yeah.
You don't look like you walked off the set of
Grizzly Adams.
Duck Dynasty.
Oh, Duck Dynasty. Or Doug Dynasty.
Yeah.
Too. Doug Dynasty. That would be a sweet show. Just all guys named Doug.
In a dynasty.
Living in a giant castle. Anyways, enough about our crazy ideas. So this is also, by the way, where we see Judge Coetzee getting coffee. But Amy comes running into the courtroom and she begs Ben to help her because, as she says, I've been accused of killing my boss, but I didn't. But the cops show up and they arrest Amy. I did not like this scene. I thought this scene was weird.
Yeah, it's fine. She was there begging.
Oh,
we all knew Matlock was going to take the case.
Yes, that was quite predictable because our very next scene is that Ben shows up in the courtroom to take Amy off the hands of Alan. And I did enjoy the comment of Ben said, I've seen the color of her money, because Alan makes some quip about she can't afford you or something along those lines. That's got to be crushing for Alan, don't you think? Like, yeah, I finally have a case. Yeah,
because he gets paid for the cases, right?
Yeah, he's a public defender.
Yeah. Matlock just took food off his kid's table.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I'm sure that probably Alan does not make $100,000 like Matlock does a case.
No, probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
And pro bono, it looks good on the firm.
Well, the pro bono looks good for Matlock, too. Oh, okay.
Matlock's firm.
Oh, Matt, I thought you meant Alan's firm. I was going to say, well, maybe. I don't know.
His firm of Matlock and Tyler.
Which, we'll talk about that in a minute. I've got some serious issues with that. Anywho, so then...
Did we watch the same show?
I watched the same show, man. There are sometimes I wonder, but no, this time I'm pretty good. I'm sure that I watched the same show. So Ben and Amy talk and about not leaving Atlanta, and then Tyler shows up with a lot of questions as to Matlock, why are you doing this? You know, she's trouble. And Ben reveals that they had a case similar to this years ago, and he didn't help the kid, and the kid got railroaded. And so Tyler says, hey, man, just, keep in mind that the deck is stacked against you. But I don't think Matlock would want it any other way.
The deck being stacked against him, I feel bad for the deck.
That sounds awesome. That's an awesome catchphrase. I think we're going to have to start using that. Anyways. So Ben and Amy go back to the art gallery to discuss possible suspects. This is where we find out that Amy has the unique skill of picking locks because she got into the filing cabinet to get some info on on some of the suspects, which at this point are people who have been purchasing a lot of Randall's artwork. And so that leads us to Ben interviewing Whitney Sievers at the TV station. Then following that up with interviewing Eileen, who is the kind of the administrator of a hoity-toity private school. Here's my question, and we see this all the time, not just in Matlock, but in all of these older...
Hold on, we got to backtrack a minute. We missed something.
What did we miss?
When Matlock goes to the art gallery to look around, he says, this is art.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I wrote down Matlock the critic.
Because he's staring at the one picture of the eyeball, right? Yeah, and he's like, this is art? And that's when it's revealed like it's $5,000 a pop. All right, thanks for that. I totally forgot about that. I didn't write that down in my notes. Here's my question, though. So he questions Eileen. Where were you on the 17th or whatever? And we see this all the time in those old-timey mysteries. I can't figure out a time where, like, I think I would have a vague memory of where I was at most of the time. Like, I don't think I've ever gone, hold on, let me look at my calendar. And I turn back like 3 or 4 pages ago. Oh, the 17th, yes, I was having dinner with, Reginald. Like, you know what I mean? Like, am I the only one?
I don't write down my dinners with Reginald. We like to keep it off the table, me and Reg.
Well, just in case Reginald is accused of murdering his boss, you don't want to have anything to do with it.
When Reg and I go to Applebee's, it's completely off the books. So no, I don't ever, write down when I'm out with Reginald. Should I be? Maybe I should be.
You should be. Oh, folks, you're in for a great episode. That's all. We're halfway through, and the silliness just continues. But anyways, Ben then goes and interviews Janice Warden, who is running for office, by the way. And, with all 3 of these interviews, so we're getting I know why they did it. They're showing us these are the 3 candidates that might have something to do with the death of death of Randall, not the death of Reginald.
I know who did it from the first person he talked to.
Really?
Yeah, I could tell.
You're on a streak of this.
As soon as she said that she was at that club or that party or whatever, I'm like, yeah, that's her.
Wow. You're on a streak, man. Have you thought about just becoming a homicide detective?
I did when I was younger. I was always, Max and I'd play Lethal Weapon, and I was always Riggs, and he was Murtaugh.
Okay.
He's still bitter about that. He wanted to be Riggs, but...
We'll have to discuss that one time on 3 Geeks Podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have briefly.
Okay. All right. Anywho, So, yeah, these three are interviewed, and then we go back to Ben's office where Amy is wearing a new dress, and Tyler shows up with the alibis, and we go back to the ID joke or the driver's license joke, which I like, but I think that it's getting a little bit overdone with the next scene, Jason. I think like with
the
him,
next scene, no,
yes.
That's the best part of the episode, John. Are we going to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
Go
Matlock goes into the DMV to have a new driver's license made. I can't believe they wouldn't do it for him. That's what shocked me because it's money.
Yeah, the DMV loves money. They love it. They will do anything to get more money out of you.
Yeah, the lady's line was great because he shows her the old one and she's like, yeah, you looked younger in that one. I can't fix that.
Yeah, that was a good line. Okay. I don't know. I just thought it was a little bit overdone. Like, I didn't think they needed to have a scene with him going to the DMV. But
I was rolling.
Okay, we can agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah.
All right, the next scene was totally predictable. So Tyler is asked to escort Amy back to the gallery to get some of her stuff. Now, first of all, why would you go through the back alley entrance? Like, you knew in that sketchy neighborhood somebody would be hanging out.
Well, first off, John.
Yes.
Anytime that you want to look guilty, you want to go in through the sketchy way.
Oh, okay. All
yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Did you learn that from Reginald?
No, I did not. I learned that from watching the show.
Oh, okay.
And the 3 things you don't do.
So, guess what? Amy goes in, and all of a sudden she's attacked by somebody, and then Tyler comes to her rescue.
Tyler gets his butt whooped.
I know. I was like, dude, come on. You are Tyler freaking Hudson. You shouldn't be getting your butt handed to you.
By that skinny little dude?
Yeah.
No, that is the issue I had in this episode. Tyler getting his butt kicked.
Oh, man.
Even though I didn't write that down in my notes. I wrote something much more crude.
Much more crude. Thank you.
I got my 1 for the day.
I was gonna say our fans do not appreciate sailor language. I don't even know what sailor language is. I guess we should talk like Popeye. Meows, what meows? Anyways.
Yeah, this scene shocked me so much I didn't make any more notes.
No, that's where you stopped. Amy and Ben are back at the studio or the art gallery. And they're going through papers. Amy again picks a lock on a lockbox. We find out that, shocking, Randall has taken nude photographs of Whitney, Eileen, and Janice.
Dun dun.
Yeah. So apparently Randall had been blackmailing the 3 women to buy his art, and he wouldn't release their photos. I think this is a pretty decent motive for murder.
Yeah, and a nice scam, too.
It is a nice scam, and I think that it was probably, maybe, and I don't know this for sure, but maybe modeled off of the Vanessa Williams scandal, if you remember,
I don't.
So Vanessa Williams, of course, the famous actress, was Miss America and then was stripped of her crown because of some topless photos that had taken place, years and years and years prior to that. So I think maybe this was kind of a little bit of like, pulling from pop culture in the 80s.
That's the thing. People used to get canceled for nude photos.
Well, if you're Miss America, yeah. Because you're supposed to be wholesome and whatnot.
Can they still find wholesome people in 2021?
Probably not. But anyways, Tyler appears with some evidence, and he delivers it with his usual bravado, his usual swagger, that he's found that Mark Jacobs is the guy that attacked him and, of course, Amy. And he knows where he lives thanks to the health club that he belongs to just coughing up his address. I think that's a lawsuit. You can't just cough up somebody's name, address, and phone number if you work at a health spa, can you?
I wouldn't think so. But again, it's the 80s. Like, I don't know what was socially acceptable back then.
Maybe the person was like, that Mark Jacobs, he's a jerk. He's in there all the time being a jerkwad. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go ahead. Here you go, sir. Go get him. Ben drops the nude photos to Eileen, right? He walks into her office. He shows them to her. Eileen offers to pay him $10,000. And then that's how Matlock knows she's not the one. Because he's like, never mind, these are free. But here's my problem. I didn't buy that Eileen was angry at Ben. Like, she wasn't shocked. She wasn't angry. The acting was pretty bad. I just got to say. I felt like both of them did not do a very good job of driving home how scandalous this was.
Oh, I didn't know she was supposed to be angry. She seemed happy.
But why would you be happy about somebody finding the nude photos that you're embarrassed about?
She's confused.
She's confused.
I don't have a good answer.
I mean, that kind of bothered me. Then also in our next scene, Tyler confronts Mark Jacobs, and he gets in his car and takes off, and Amy follows him in tow on her moped.
Fastest moped in Atlanta, Georgia.
A word. She eventually follows Mark to his own studio, and I was like, how did she get in? But then I remembered, she knows how to pick the locks, so that's how she got in. So Ben also shows the nudes to Janice, and she offers to pay, so that eliminates Janice as a suspect. I did think it was a little bit creepy that Ben said, "You have a nice smile." Like, dude, that's not appropriate. Not appropriate at all.
He's trying to make nice out of an awkward situation.
I also like how he tried to shield the pictures from Amy when they discovered them. And Amy was like, I'm a photographer. I've seen nudes before. And it's like, yeah,
And I'm a woman.
Yeah, right. I'm a woman. Yeah, exactly. I have the same anatomy. So then Ben confronts Whitney, but she refuses to pay, and she gives him a photo that shows that she has an alibi.
Yeah. I looked at that photo and I said photoshopped.
I figured that there was going to be some manipulation, especially, with the fact that they have revealed that Mark has his own studio.
You couldn't tell by the shadows in the photo when we first saw it?
No, actually, no.
I wasn't looking.
It took me till we got to the part where they go, Mark has his own photo studio. I'm like, somebody manipulated something. And as a matter of fact, Amy sneaks out while Ben and Tyler are trying to come up with a game plan, and she sneaks back into Mark's studio only to steal some negatives from Mark. And then that even gets her chastised by Ben, which...
He's grateful. He just said, after this case, you need to stop.
Yeah, but I just think too, like, couldn't the attorney, like, if this goes to trial, right? If Mark would go to trial for this, I kept thinking, wouldn't that be thrown out because you got it through illegal means?
Yeah, I thought that too.
Yeah, I was like, so that would not be good. But Ben sees something in this in the photos. He has Amy make a bigger picture, which is gonna come into play when we go to the courtroom. So let's go to the courtroom, shall we? Mark and Whitney are having an affair, a tryst, whatever you want to call them. And Mark is also the photographer of Whitney. So here, real quickly, there's a scene where Tyler is sitting second chair. I don't like that. Look, you got rid of Charlene. We know that. We got it. Understood. But no one should be in that second chair. Not Tyler, because I think that aren't you supposed to be a licensed attorney to be able to sit second chair?
I don't think so. I think he can be there.
You could sit at the table with the lawyer. You can't. I figured you'd have to sit in the first row.
That's a good question. I don't know for sure, but I know like when people defend themselves all the time, they're not. I don't know. I don't know what the rule is for second chair.
I don't either, but if you know and you'd like to let us know, drop us a line. Facebook, it's at Mattalk Podcast. Twitter, it's at Mattalk_podcast. And we have an email, don't we, Jason?
Yes, BENMATTALK@gmail.com.
There you go. So, so Tyler's sitting second chair. That rubbed me the wrong way. And we find out that indeed Jacobs has photoshopped Whitney into her alibi photo. And it's there where I noticed the shadows, that the shadow is on the left side of Whitney. Everybody else is on the right side. But here's my question. If you're a trained photographer, wouldn't you know that you have to match up the shadows?
Duh.
Yeah. I mean, Mark Jacobs must be the dumbest photographer on the face of the planet.
Yeah, you probably had to make that in a hurry, too.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. I mean, I know it's not as easy as today. You have Adobe Photoshop. You could pretty much just Photoshop, anything, But yeah, this was kind of, I don't know. Ben now has Whitney in the box, so to speak, on the stand, and he threatens to show the nude pics of Whitney because he has to. To show the jury and everybody what is at stake. But basically because that Whitney doesn't pay Randall for the last month that she supposedly had to pay him $5,000, that Randall was going to release these pics. So that's the theory behind the motive of why Whitney killed him. And indeed, Ben discovers that this earring was in the one photo and it was on the floor. But when Amy showed up, It was still there. When she left, it was gone. And so therefore, Whitney had to be the one that killed Randall Brooks because she took back the earring because she knew if she left it there, she would get caught. Your thoughts on Whitney?
Well, one, that is a hard sell because Amy could have came back and gotten that.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit flimsy on that, the defense there and proving that Whitney did it.
My issue is with the judge and the prosecutor. Like, they always get on Matlock for weaving tales, but he does it all the time.
I know.
Like, why? Well, just give up. You know that if he's weaving tales, he knows who did it. You guys should be employing him.
And see, here's my question. You were friendly with Judge Cooksey earlier on when you were getting coffee, so doesn't that make it a conflict of interest? If I was the prosecutor, I'd be like, wait. I know that you two were speaking earlier in the week when you were getting coffee. I think that shows a bias towards me.
I don't know, because a lot of the shows I watch, the judges and lawyers always seem to interact. So I don't know if judges and lawyers interact outside of the court.
You know what? We need to get an attorney on here. We do. To answer all these questions.
Well, you know an attorney.
I do know an attorney. I could see if you would want to come on.
His name is Perry Mason.
No, his name is not Perry Mason.
Matthew Reese.
Nor is he employed by the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Did you like that old joke? There you go. There's a dad joke for y'all. Anyways, and then the very last scene, Ben asks Amy if she can retouch his driver's license. See, I thought that was okay. I don't know. The DMV scene just, I will say this too, again. Wow. Whitney Seaver. Very, very pretty woman. I mean, we said it, but it just seemed like they brought out a bevy of gorgeous, gorgeous women for this episode.
I agree.
So,
especially Adler.
Yeah, Adler was very attractive. They all were. I mean, Anyways, I wonder if that was something that just was a happy accident or if they specifically cast for that. I wonder.
Probably
what? It was a happy accident or they cast?
They cast.
Okay. Maybe to bring the ratings up. Jason, any other notes that you got?
I do not.
All right, then let's get on into our closing statements. This is the part of the podcast where we are going to rate this episode, and we're going to do so on a gavel system. 5 gavels means it was an absolutely awesome episode. Down to 1 gavel, that means it was kind of a lousy episode. We will also give our justifications for this rating. Jason, what do you think?
Okay, so I really liked this episode a lot, but I had one huge issue besides Tyler getting his butt kicked, and that was there was a huge Charlene gap. And you could feel it in the show. So I'd probably rate this show a 4.5 if I didn't feel that gap. So with that huge Charlene, just elephant in the room, we'll call it.
Yeah.
It brings it down to a 3.5 for me. But I like the episode a lot.
I give it a 2.5. I give it 2.5 gavels out of 5. I like the motive for murder because I could see like, oh, you're going to ruin my future career by having these photos released. I liked, again, the bravado that Tyler shows, even though he does get beat up. I thought the ID joke was funny, or excuse me, the driver's license note joke was funny. My big problem is this. I felt that the acting was really flat. I felt like there just was something missing, and maybe it is the elephant in the room that you just mentioned, that maybe it's because it's the first episode without Charlene and they're trying to retune things, so to speak. But I kind of was like, like everybody seems to be phoning it in.
And they keep bringing in, women to fill the Charlene part. And I liked Adler a lot. I liked the character. Even though she was there to kind of help play the foil with Ben and Tyler, but she just wasn't the same. It's missing.
Yeah, and there you go. There's another reason why I was not a big fan, and that's my other negative. I didn't really dig Adler. I thought that she just kind of was, again, as I said, she wasn't bad enough for me to be like the bad chick, but she wasn't like helpful enough to be like the sidekick to Ben and Tyler. She was she was like in a Twilight Zone type, like in the middle, you know what I mean? And they just didn't define a good enough role for her and define what that character was going to be. So I mean, 2.5 is middle of the road. And that's what I gave it.
That's fair. I figured you were going to go a little lower than me.
No. All right, with that, shall we talk about some other podcasting projects that you and I are involved in?
Oh, yeah. Since this is going to air on Monday, I can promote the Three Geeks podcast on May 16th. We have Chris and Jennifer Candy. If that last name sounds familiar to you, that is correct. They are the children of the infamous and legendary John Candy, who was taken from us way too soon. And they're coming on, and we're going to do our top 5 80s comedies. They're going to bring each of their lists, and we're going to do ours. And it should be a lot of fun. So I highly recommend anybody tune in to the Three Geeks podcast next week.
Where can folks tune in?
At Three Geeks Podcast on Twitter, Facebook. And you guys can check out 3geeks.ninja, the Scene Snobs, and all of the other fun stuff.
All right, and yours truly has a personal podcast called the PVD Cast. It's available at pvdcast.com and all of those other major podcasting outlets, including the Scene Snobs. And be sure to check out the scenesnobs.com. If you love podcasts, there are tons of podcasts over there with a ton of different subjects, topics, whatnot. You know, you got some folks that are, you know, bringing you inspiring tales of you know, triumphing over tough times, to movie podcasts, to a pop culture podcast, to sports podcasts, et cetera, et cetera. Check them out. Business podcasts. I mean, seriously, there's a huge catalog of 30 plus different podcasts, and you should check it out. thescenesnobs.com. We're happy to be a part of it. Both the Three Geeks and PVD Cast are, and Mattalk too. We forgot Mattalk noon Sundays, past episodes being streamed through thescenesnobs.com. And, you know, look, Mick, the gentleman who runs Scene Snobs, he's become a Matlock fan.
Yeah.
Because of us. Heard. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. All right. One last time, we're going to let you know where you can get in touch with us. Of course, on Facebook at Mattalk Podcast, Twitter at Mattalk_podcast. Drop us a line. Let us know what you think about our episodes, what you think about us, et cetera, et cetera. And Jason, hit him with that email one more time.
It is benmattalk@gmail.com.
All right, with that then, ladies and gentlemen, as they say in court, nothing further.
The following has been a joint production of the Three Geeks Podcast and John Orlando Enterprises, LLC. Copyright 2021.